Oh, hi. I want to tell you today about a woman named Renee, whom I recently encountered, and how this experience I had with her helped me understand better how to know when you've experienced God in your life. So this woman named Renee comes by the parish where I am. Renee's not the kind of person who thought of herself as religious or even having kind of a strong belief in God or whatever. I was asking her, well, when have you sort of experienced God in your life? And she said, never. I've never have. So she's what you and I would say is like a normal person. She told me kind of her life story. She had an amazing experience. She became pregnant when she was 17 years old. She wasn't sure if she wanted to keep the child, and she had an aunt who said, get rid of the child. She kind of thought that was a good idea, but her family said to her, look, if you do that, you're out of the family. So she felt very unsupported, very isolated, very afraid. She continued through the pregnancy, but she would do things like kind of like punch her stomach in an action of just kind of fear, and I don't want this child. Well, after about 7 months, she stopped feeling the child kicking. And then her grandma came to her and prayed over her. And she said, God, please heal this child, and we ask you for a healthy delivery. The next day, that child was kicking all day long. Fast forward to 2 months, she's ready to have the baby, but she starts feeling terrified. She's thinking, God is gonna hate me, God is going to make this child sick or deformed or something because I didn't want this child. She has the child, she gives birth, the doctor hands her this baby, and she looks at the child, and it's a perfect little girl. And she said, at that moment, I felt this gratitude well up in my heart, and I knew God loved me. And I said to her, that's what it's like for you to experience God's presence. You might say, any woman who has a child feels joy and happiness. And yeah, and that may be true. But what she said was, in that moment, I knew God loved me. She had been sort of running from God, a movement away from God. In that moment, she felt a movement towards God. And it was really amazing because then she was able to identify other moments in her life that had a similar feel. Maybe not as strong, but similar. So I share that story with you today because I think most of us are kind of like that. We think, I've never really experienced God, in my life in a strong way. Well, okay, but think of moments in your life when you've experienced stronger or lesser degrees, a kind of spontaneous movement towards God. God is good. God is loving. He's loving to me. Maybe it's an experience like she experienced. Maybe it's something beautiful. Maybe it's a sunset. Maybe it's a movie. Maybe it's a relationship. If it's a kind of spontaneous drawing you to God, then there's a chance that that is what it's like for you to experience God's presence. And when you identify those, God doesn't seem quite so far away.